Saint Francis of Assisi, a figure deeply respected by the Catholic Church, is remembered not only for his humility and charity, but also for his transcendental connection with the natural world. He did not view nature as something separate from humanity, but as an extension of the spiritual universe, where each creature, each tree, and each river carried the essence of the divine. Born into a wealthy family in the Italian city of Assisi, he defied expectations by abandoning all riches and fleeting pleasures, choosing a life of absolute simplicity. Saint Francis believed that by renouncing material distractions, he could approach the true spiritual essence of life, the one that connects us directly to creation and universal love. His respect for animals in particular was a way of recognizing in them the same divine spark that exists in each of us, something that invites us to reflect on our relationship with being and everything around us. Now, before we dive into the fascinating revelations to come, I want to ask you a special question. Do you have a cat? If so, leave a comment below saying, "I am a cat owner," or "I love cats." Also, share the precious details about how many cats you have, their names, colors, and ages. Cats are enigmatic creatures, and many believe they have a unique connection to the spiritual realm, capable of sensing subtle energies that often escape human perception. Getting to know your feline companion a bit more can help us understand this spiritual connection they may have with our lives. Now, I will share with you a fascinating secret about Saint Francis of Assisi that few know. There is an ancient story passed down in secret from generation to generation by Franciscan monks that speaks of one of Saint Francis's most mysterious miracles, connected to a cat on the brink of death. According to this tradition, on a cold winter night, while Saint Francis wandered the fields of Assisi in deep prayer, he heard a subtle, almost imperceptible lament. Approaching, he found a thin and fragile cat on the verge of death, lying in the shadow of a centuries-old oak tree. Its dull, lifeless eyes conveyed immense suffering, but also a resigned acceptance of its fate. The village was steeped in superstitions and believed that the animal brought bad luck, as since its appearance, the crops had failed, and a series of misfortunes had struck the region. However, for Saint Francis, the cat represented something much deeper. A creature connected to the divine universe, whose suffering should not be ignored, but embraced with compassion. This story leads us to reflect on the power of spiritual love that transcends beliefs and prejudices. In Saint Francis' view, every living being carries within it a fragment of the divine, and when we care for these creatures, we are, in fact, caring for our own spirit. By saving the cat, he not only healed an animal, but also demonstrated the transformative power of universal love and compassion, capable of healing even the most wounded souls and the most closed hearts. Saint Francis of Assisi, endowed with rare spiritual sensitivity, had a perception that transcended the mere physical world. He knew that the rejected and feared cat, shunned by the villagers, was not responsible for the misfortunes plaguing the community, but was rather a reflection of dissonant spiritual forces. Since his youth, he experienced a profound communion with the divine and nature, seeing in creatures the echo of creation, a constant reminder that everything is interconnected by an invisible thread that comes from the mind of the Creator. Thus, Francis understood that the suffering of this animal was not separate from the suffering of the villagers themselves, but was, in fact, a symptom of a larger spiritual imbalance that needed to be corrected. As he approached the cat, Francis showed a tenderness that went beyond the physical. He knew in his heart that this being was not just a body but a living soul, a spark of the same divine force that permeates all of creation. Beings with a profound calm, Francisco knelt beside the feline, as if paying homage not only to the creature, but to life itself that it represented. He gently placed his hands on the animal's head, not merely with the intent to heal its debilitated body, but to restore the spiritual balance of both the cat and the village. As he closed his eyes, a silent prayer began to emerge from his lips. This prayer, though whispered, was charged with such pure faith that it seemed to resonate in other dimensions, touching the very essence of creation. The air around Francisco began to shift, infused with a sacred presence, a subtle vibration that only those in tune with the Spirit could perceive. Hidden witnesses among the trees, observing from afar, reported something even more extraordinary. A soft, serene golden light began to emanate from Francisco's body, extending around the cat like a spiritual mantle. That light appeared to pulse with a life of its own, as if guided by a higher force, a direct connection with the divine. The surrounding nature, once silent and cold, seemed to awaken through the prayer. The leaves of the trees swayed as though also participating in that sacred moment, while the stars in the sky shone with greater intensity, reflecting the presence of something beyond human understanding. At that instant, it seemed time had stopped, allowing the miracle to manifest in all its spiritual glory. At the end of the prayer, Francisco slowly opened his eyes and, with unshakable serenity, looked into the eyes of the cat, which now observed him with renewed intensity. "You are a divine creation," said Francisco, with a voice echoing the wisdom of the ages. "Like all beings, the grace, love, and healing of the Creator are within you. Arise, for God's blessing is now with you." These simple yet spiritually potent words seemed infused with a force transcending the physical world. The cat, once motionless and on the brink of death, began to move slowly. Its breathing, once weak and irregular, became steady, and its eyes, which had lost their shine, now sparkled with renewed vitality, as if they were mirrors of life itself. Its fur, once dull and lifeless, began to gleam as though touched by the sun. Then, with renewed strength, the cat stood up and, as if it had never experienced pain or suffering, began to run through the fields with surprising agility. The scene was astonishing. The animal, once considered a symbol of misfortune, now shone like a reborn creature. Francisco's act did not merely save the cat's life, but brought profound spiritual healing to the entire village. The following day, the impact of that moment of divine grace became even more evident. The fields, once barren and sterile, began to bloom with new vigor. The rivers, which had dried up, began to flow abundantly and clear, and the air, once heavy with oppression and sadness, was now filled with lightness. Nature itself seemed to have been purified by the presence of something sacred. The villagers, who once feared the cat, now saw it as a bearer of divine grace. Wherever it went, it was followed with reverence, and many believed its mere presence could bring prosperity and peace. When asked about the miracle, Francisco, with his characteristic humility, replied, "I did nothing. It was the hand of God that touched this creature, because every being, great or small, is worthy of receiving divine love. Those who understand this comprehend the true mystery of creation." His words resonated deeply, for they carried the essence of the spirituality Francisco had always preached, the unity of all things. He viewed the universe as a great interconnected fabric where every being, from the smallest of animals to the wisest of humans, was part of a divine plan sustained by God's infinite love. For him, caring for animals was not just an act of compassion, but a way of honoring this sacred interconnection. This account, kept secret for centuries, reveals more than just a simple miracle. It invites us to reflect on the power of spirituality in our daily lives, showing that true healing comes not only from physical restoration, but from reconnecting with the divine that dwells in everything around us. By observing animals and all forms of life, we are called to recognize the presence of the Creator. It is in this recognition that we find the path to a spiritually enriched and fulfilling life. The story of Francisco and the cat reminds us that unconditional love and faith in divine power can transform even the darkest situations, bringing light and healing where there was once only pain and desolation. This is the moment to open your heart to the angels, who may bring messages through the silent presence of your cat. On the 7th day of each season, when your cat begins to walk in circles, it is tracing the symbol of eternity. This seemingly simple movement has a profound spiritual meaning. The circle is the perfect symbol of wholeness and eternity, without beginning or end. When your cat moves in this way, it is not just exercising, but activating spiritual energies that transcend time and space. These circular movements are like portals that open, allowing cosmic energies to flow and renew the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. By observing this behavior, take the opportunity to meditate on the natural cycles of life. This is an excellent moment to reflect on your patterns, recognize what needs to be transformed, and understand what must be maintained in balance. The circle traced by your cat is a reminder that everything is interconnected. By attuning to this truth, you can harmonize your energy with the universe. If your cat makes 3 consecutive jumps in the same place, know that it is opening cosmic doors for you. Jumping is a gesture of ascension, of rising beyond the earthly realm. When a cat repeats this movement, especially in a sequence of 3, it creates a bridge between the material and spiritual planes. Cats are known for their ability to traverse between worlds, and this specific behavior indicates that the energies around you are shifting and that a spiritual opportunity is presenting itself before you. These jumps carry powerful energy, representing the quest for something greater, the ascension to the unknown and the transcendent. When you witness this event, pause for a moment and enter a state of gratitude. Perform a small ritual of spiritual elevation, giving thanks for everything you have, and asking for clarity regarding the opportunities the universe is placing in your path. This is the moment to tune into your spiritual mission and open yourself to the abundant flow of the universe. This profound connection between cats and the spiritual realm is a constant reminder of the interconnection between all beings. By recognizing the signs they give us, we can open ourselves to new understandings and spiritual growth, aligning them with the divine order. When your cat lies belly up under the sun, it is receiving and sharing divine energy with you. The sunlight is one of the purest manifestations of divine energy, nourishing not only the body but also recharging our souls. When your cat seeks this light, it absorbs not only the warmth, but the very essence of life. By lying belly up, it opens itself completely, allowing the spiritual energy flowing from the sun to be channeled into the environment around it. Observing this scene, say a prayer of gratitude. Take advantage of the sun's presence and the vital energy it transmits to open your heart and mind to the blessings being sent to you. Meditate under this same light, feeling your connection with the universe, and allow this energy to recharge your soul, just as it recharges your cat's spirit. When your cat briefly disappears at dusk, it takes with it messages and energies from beyond. This should not be interpreted merely as physical behavior, but as a significant spiritual journey. The cat, temporarily disappearing, can navigate between higher spiritual dimensions, and its return at twilight symbolizes the integration of these transcendent experiences into the material world. The evening light, which signals the end of a cycle, is also a moment of revelation and reception of spiritual messages. Welcome your cat with an open heart and receptive mind. Observe any changes in its behavior or energy. These moments can serve as portals to deeper understandings, and your cat may bring information or energies that help you clarify the spiritual questions you are facing. The constant presence of your cat by your side is a form of spiritual protection, creating an energetic barrier against adverse influences and ensuring that you remain safe amid chaos. Be grateful for the protection offered by your cat, and take this moment to strengthen your protective practices.